Hello, beautiful souls. Today I am here to do a pick a card reading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle this deck. I'm going to pull 3 different cards to signify the reading pile for you to choose your pile from. We'll do 3. All right, so pile number 1, we have Milk Thistle with Peaceful Warrior. Okay. Pile number 2, we have Echinacea with Destiny. Pile number 3, we have Mugwort with Psychic Healing. Okay, so I will give you a moment. Again, pile 1 is Milk Thistle. Pile 2 is Echinacea. Pile 3 is Mugwort. So you may have noticed you felt instantly drawn to a card before it was even flipped. You may have felt drawn to a specific card as you saw them. If you're feeling unsure about which card is for you, I encourage you to pause this video, place your hand over your heart, and take 3 deep breaths. Give yourself the permission to slow down for a moment and really feel into your body. Okay? Again, you can pause this video to slow it down so that you can choose based on your heart and soul. There's also a possibility that you might be drawn to 2 cards. There might be messages in 2 readings. Okay? So pile number 1, I'm going to slide pile 2 and pile 3 up out of the way here. So pile number 1, we have Milk Thistle, Peaceful Warrior. I'm instantly drawn to the physical healing benefits of Milk Thistle. Milk Thistle is really great for your liver. And in our physical body, we will hold emotions of anger in our liver. And the words they use to describe this energy is peaceful warrior with the number 23. So it's bringing yourself back into peace by accepting the things that are maybe rubbing you the wrong way. Now, I'm not saying they have to stay as they are, but accepting that something is frustrating you is the first step to recognizing and bringing awareness into a situation. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card from each of these decks for pile number 1. The crystal we have is Imperial Topaz. You live in abundance. So you might be getting caught up in there's not enough time in the day. There's not enough. I have to do more. I don't have any choices, or I don't know what to do. There might be thoughts ruminating kind of in those vibes for you, pile number 1. And this is a reminder that, again, you do have permission to slow down and you do have the capacity to make choices. Okay? You are allowed to define how you want to move forward from this moment, because you might be feeling that things are feeling just a little bit too heavy, a little bit too much. And there's always an abundance of solutions. There's an abundance of support if we allow ourselves to be open to receiving it. It's sometimes when we get in, like, I'm going to call it a grumpy mood, what can happen is we shut down to the possibility of there being solutions because it's outside of the energy we're currently vibing in. Now, there's nothing wrong with having your experience, feeling the things and feeling in that grumpy state, but also understand that from that energy, we can't see solutions. Even if they're being presented to us, it'll feel like, no, I don't want to. And completely acceptable. But understanding that might be the phase you're in right now, is the feeling a little bit grumpy, feeling like things aren't lining up, or they're so far off course from what you envisioned for yourself that it feels disappointing, or you don't have a firm idea of how to move forward with your original plans based on the current flow of events. So give yourself grace in knowing there's multiple ways that this can unfold. And just because you might have to change your plan doesn't mean that the plan is all but lost, right? We have nettle with pay attention. So I love the artistry on this card. Stinging nettle is definitely something you need to pay attention to, or you can get yourself in a heap of trouble really fast. You know, you start frolicking through a field and it's filled with stinging nettle. You're gonna feel it. Maybe not instantaneously, but pretty darn quick. So nettle also reduces inflammation. So again, kind of saying similar vibes to this milk thistle, saying, hey, there's something that's agitating you there, whether it's emotionally or physically. There's this inflammatory response, and they're saying, hey, what if we shifted gears? What if we were able to look at things with a little bit different light? How could we change things? And you might not be able to access the openness of possibility in this moment. You might not be there today. And again, give yourself grace about that. You know, we can't always just jump to solutions. Like we can, but, you know, give yourself the opportunity to feel the experience, process what's coming up, and then shift. You know, it's the and then what type energy. Okay. So one of my favorite teas is nettle leaf tea. Traditional Medicinals offers that as an option. I'm sure there's other brands too. So just like maybe milk thistle, nettle leaf tea, or a combination of it. Like usually cleansing blends will have some of those in it. So maybe be open to consuming those herbs, that plant medicine, to help you reduce that inflammatory response within your body, whether it's physically or emotionally, so that you can feel a little bit more peace. Right? Ooh, and then we have the tabby cat. You are worthy. Okay, so I love the artistry in this card. Obviously ancient Egyptian vibes, but like the cat is like, I am deity. I have this big spirit. It has the ankh, it has the wings. Just like the purple even just speaks to so much royalty type energy. And again, that kind of shows up in this Imperial Topaz card too, that abundance, you know, so bringing in that aspect of you are worthy, knowing you are worthy of your desires, of love, of kindness, of success, however you define those things, and giving yourself permission to feel that you are. You know, just because you do something nice for yourself one day doesn't mean you can't do it again the next day. You know, it's giving yourself those opportunities to expand, to vibe into things, and, you know, challenging yourself when you feel that like grumpiness. Challenge yourself, be like, what is the core of what's happening here? What is really instigating these thoughts? And that will help to just move you through things a little bit differently. Okay, so we have prosperity begins. So I love that this card is coming under Imperial Topaz. You know, it's got the fruit doubling up here, but also like cornucopias in this picture are often a symbol of like abundance, of overflow, of like thanksgiving and gratitude. And then prosperity begins right under that abundance card. So as you're reducing or becoming more aware of what feels inflammatory in your life, that's where your magic lies. That's where the unfolding happens. Okay. We have the disruption card. In this deck, it's called the Psychic Tarot. It's one of my favorite decks. It's an oracle-based deck, but is loosely based on tarot. And so it has a lot of the themes, but there's not enough cards to do all of the tarot cards in this deck. But this one mimics the tower energy. And it's sometimes you need to tear down the building to get back to that solid foundation and rebuild. It's not that you're rebuilding from nothing. It's like the foundation wasn't set for the type of tower that was built. So you've progressed down a path and there's this disrupted energy. Okay. So again, things that are causing an inflammatory response. It can feel like, well, I applied all this effort, I did all this stuff. Was it really just a waste of time? Unlikely. You grew in that process. There was a reason you did that. You felt aligned the whole time. So just because it didn't turn out the way you wanted to doesn't mean it wasn't divinely guided. Make sense? And then we have the wisdom card. I love that. So like from these disruptances, there's this, you're learning through the process of things not going the way you expected. There is a progression energy. There is a, well, I'm not going to allow this to define me. I'm not going to let this beat me down. I'm still going to have hope. Even if I'm crawling and my shirt's dirty, I still have that hope because I'm learning through this process and I'm providing a little bit of grace to self through this process. Okay. I think all of these are giving a message of you are worthy to take time for yourself and slow down, even if it's just taking time to run the errand, even if it's just taking the time to breathe before you get out of the car. You are worth taking that intentional time. Now, intentional time is not the same if you're on a phone and you're catching up on messages. That's not intentional time. Intentional time is like setting down the distractions and just being present, taking a moment. You know, if you're buying groceries, not, okay, I need this, just casually walking through the store and be like, okay, yes, I do need this. You know, it's shifting the energy of it. You deserve to be present in your life. You deserve that opportunity. But if you don't give it to yourself, it's really hard for anyone else to give that to you. You will always have that cortisol response, that highly stressed response, if you aren't giving yourself permission to immerse into your experience, to be present, to honor your desires. You know, a house cat, if they want to nap, they're going to nap. If they have the zoomies, they're going to have the zoomies. So it's giving you those opportunities. It's giving you the chance. Okay. Pile number 1. These are the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are here for another pile yet, I will be talking with you very soon. So I'm just going to quickly put these cards back. So that we can move on to the next one. All right. So pile number 2, we have Echinacea with Destiny and number 30. So I'm going to shuffle the cards and pull cards while I'm giving messages for this one, just to save some time. Echinacea with Destiny. This is a time, pile number 2, for you to really root into your presence. Like I really continue to see the roots highlighted in this card. There is a snake there with transformation, eating itself. It's like moving through. There's a star swooping down even. It's every experience you have had, every moment that you have been through something that helped you grow, whether that's in a positive way or in a way that took a while to feel positive for. It was building and giving you the experiences to have the context, to have the understanding, to have the knowledge, to be where you are now, to be ready for the opportunities that are about to unfold for you. And I know you can feel this energy. There's this bit of like maybe tension, this restlessness that's building for you. This, well, I need to move energy, but everything feels so far away. I feel like I can't do this, I can't do that. And there's this, like when someone is going to be doing a 100-meter race, they're at the start line, they're ready, and there's that anticipation of when are they going to say go. Like that's the energy. It's like 1, 2, 3, go. You're waiting to hear go, and you might be getting a 1, 2, 3 giraffe, 1, 2, 3 gopher. You might be getting some, like, I'll call it fake out, where it's like, oh no, not quite. And it's giving the energy of, well, this is never going to happen for me. Like, if it hasn't happened yet, all of these, like, I'm going to call it failed chances. It just passed me by. I thought it was going to work out. It hasn't. But yet somewhere deep inside, you did not give up on the vision. You still held the vision. You still kept the presence. Even if the light faded sometimes, even if you weren't sure how to pivot from a moment, that vision still stayed with you. That goal for the future still stayed with you. So I'm just gonna put there. That's for a reason. You kept that energy for a reason. That calling is part of the direction you're going. Okay. Wow. Blue topaz, be soft and listen. Pile number 1 also had a topaz come up. So if you were drawn to pile 1, you might want to go check that out if you haven't already. But I love the colors of this card. It is very intuition based, very like opening up spiritual intuition. So be soft and listen. It's right now, even an echinacea plant isn't like a go hard energy. It is soft energy. It is gentle energy. It is nurturing. It is loving, very feminine energies. And even like the intuitive side is also kind of replicating that feminine softness, not to be mistaken for weakness. Just putting that out there. But when you're being hard on yourself, like, oh, I have to do more. I haven't done, that missed opportunities energy, that's when you get disconnected from messages. That's when you will feel bogged down, is the words that come to mind. So the softer you can be with yourself, the more compassionate you can be with yourself, the more opportunities there are for you to expand into that new energy, to expand into that knowing, right? That inner, that deep knowing, the I cannot question, I know that I know energy. That is what is being called forward at this time, that I know deep in my soul that this is the path. I don't know how, but this is the path. We have Hawthorn with Heart's Home. Again, roots are feeling really significant here. Tapping into the water, there's, different landscapes, and you might need a change of scenery. That's coming to mind first and foremost in this reading here. But it's more than that. Like there's this little door in the tree, right here. I definitely have some meditations where I've guided people in a meditation. They went through a door in a tree and then like did stuff. So that's kind of fun. It's like accessing old skills or old things you used to do while also changing it up. So in my example of I've done guided meditations that include that element, maybe it's time to record some more meditations, but with my new knowledge and with my new skills and being very intuitively based in order to do that. Allowing things to unfold in a new way. So that is kind of the energy that's being presented, is like what skills and knowledge do you have that you can apply in a new way, in a new scene? How can you evolve from being compassionate with yourself? It's not always doing more, learning more, having to be better. It's what do I already have access to? The red fox with shapeshift. This card's so cute, by the way, very cute. Foxes are very clever and they change based on the environment they find themselves in. So very mutable zodiac signs. So that's Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. Might be significant for you. Maybe you are that, either sun, moon, rising, or there's someone significant in your life that is one of those signs. But it's understanding that you are allowed to change based on your environment. If you're in an environment that feels really heavy and burdensome, that's okay. It might be burdened. So give yourself the expanse of space. So, as an example, I know this has happened to me too. If I've been neglecting my chores at home, and it feels messy and burdensome, and I'm trying to feel inspired about a project, but I'm at home and I'm feeling the heaviness. It's really hard to connect to that inspiration from a place of heaviness. So if I need to change my environment, I might just go to a coffee shop for a minute or an hour or whatever length of time, so that I can feel the peace of the environment. Or maybe I go to a park and sit by a tree. It's changing the environment to connect with an energy you're trying to access. So if you're trying to feel inspired, go to places you feel inspired. If you're trying to rest, create a space where you can rest. It's understanding your environment will influence you, and not just in a negative way, but in a how can I curate my experience way. I want to feel inspired. I'm going to surround myself with inspiration, whether it's people, circumstances, places. Like, let yourself feel the inspiration, allow it to unfold, give yourself that space, right? Yes. So we have suffering in silence. Again, this person got to the top of that mountain. They're standing alone, looking at all the things. Can be a very inspirational moment, and oftentimes people don't understand what it took to get here. Some people do, who have been through a similar journey, but even people that have been through a similar journey as you to get to where you are still have different details of how they got there. So again, allowing grace. A 9 card is like completing cycles, things coming to a head, kind of facing that, okay, I'm doing the thing. Movement, choices, and decisions, coming right under that Hawthorne card where we talked about changing the environment. And it's showing these different, I'm not sure if they're windows or doorways. It feels a little bit like doorways because they're on the floor, but knowing that some kind of change is required. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. It just won't work. Even if it's a subtle change. Even if your morning routine only changes by the type of beverage you make for yourself. If you're running on high cortisol and you overconsume caffeine, maybe you start with a decaf coffee before you try any actual coffee. I know some of you are like, blasphemy. But, it's giving yourself the opportunity to try something new, shift something. It can be as small as what drink you have in the morning. It could be as big as where you live, where you work. but give yourself the opportunity to think of what would it look like if I changed some aspects in my life. And just because you ruminate and think about something doesn't mean that's what you have to do. Just because you think of moving doesn't mean you have to do it. You just get to think about those inspirations. You get to think about, okay, well, if I didn't do this for work, what would I do? Maybe you love your work, but thinking expansively of if it was anything else, education or options aside, what would you do? Would you want to be an astronaut? Would you want to be a veterinarian? Like, what would it be? And just let yourself play within that energy, right? The energy of possibilities. And we have the throat chakra. So throat chakra sits right on our throat, and it's responsible for our expression, our sense of authenticity, and how we show up in the world, really. That is the choke point, no pun intended, of how we're able to express our energy. So where are you holding yourself back? Where are you playing small in your life? And that's something you might have to reflect on. And even if you're like, quote unquote, making big moves, it still might be playing it safe. So as an example, I'm just going to create an example using money in small portions for context. If you're like, I would like to receive $1 unexpected income this week. Feels pretty achievable. You can probably pick up random coins you find that will equate to $1 in a week. If you're open to looking at the possibilities, if you see a dime and you pick it up and you collect 10 of those, you have achieved that goal. But it's being open to the possibility, not looking at the dime and being like, oh, you're not $1. That's not my manifestation. But what if it's a piece of it? Yeah, I'll let that sit for a minute. Where are you looking for a whole dollar when you need to be looking for 10 dimes? There will be answers to that. You may have to ruminate and reflect on that question, because sometimes it doesn't show up as a whole or in the order we thought it would. And sometimes we're like, oh, I'm just going to pick $1 is what I want to manifest this week because I know that's achievable. And it's great to strive for, but if you aren't challenging yourself, like, hey, I want $10,000 unexpected income this week, might feel a little bit bigger than $1, but energetically doesn't have to be much different. You might not have $10,000 in one lump sum, but maybe it shows up in $100 portions in a bunch of different ways. How is that showing up for you? It's like, be open to being pebbled by the universe. You know how penguins will pick up little pebbles and like deposit little gifts, like, oh, I thought of you. Allow the universe to also do that. It's like, oh, I was thinking about you here. Like, I know you're interested in this. Oh, So give yourself that grace to know it can come in small pieces to make the whole. And where do you need to push to think of a bigger something, a bigger destiny? It's okay to be where you are. Start where you are, 100%. But how can you think expansively? How can you shift into a new environment which will change your energy and fundamentally change who you are as a person? Because there's opportunities there. Pile number 2, these are the messages I have for you. If you are joining me for another reading, I look forward to speaking to you again, but I'm going to just tidy up these cards to prepare for pile number 3. All right. So pile number 3 with mugwort, card number 10, and psychic healing. Owls have been showing up for me really loudly lately in a variety of different contexts. And it's really beautiful. It is, being able to see through the darkness. It is sometimes moving silently, having very keen perception, being so grounded in your body that you have awareness of not only you, but your surroundings. The more we get stuck in, I will say, our triggers or our mind, depending on the context, the more we disconnect from our presence in this moment. We're connecting with other moments. And it is 100% out of self-preservation. We're protecting ourselves, and which is a really beautiful skill. Thank yourself for protecting you. You can pause the video if you desire to, but thank yourself for protecting you. But now it's time to rewrite what you perceive as quote unquote threats. It's giving yourself the opportunity to feel safe. It's giving yourself the opportunity to face your shadow. Because ultimately that's what's pulling us away from our own light. Is when we try to resist those aspects of ourselves. Right? Our shadow side can't exist without light, and light can't exist without the shadow. Like they're interconnected. Neither one is like bad and good so explicitly, but your wounds, your shadow self, are part of who you are. And when we can meet them with love and kindness, it just allows a whole different level of unfolding to occur. We have green fluorite with Is This Mine? I love how the vines are just kind of like tangled up. You're taking on too much responsibility for other people's reactions, their mood, their experience, and you are siphoning your own energy into management. Management of others. Trying to manage and control your experience, trying not to upset someone, trying not to trigger someone, trying, that energy is super beautiful. Because you're finally aware that not every energy you're carrying is it's not yours. There's an awareness of I'm picking up too much of other people's stuff. And that's beautiful. You may not feel that it's beautiful right now, but awareness is the key to allow things to shift. And without the awareness, nothing can shift. Give yourself the credit where credit is due. Survival mode isn't always easy to disengage from, but you're doing it moment by moment, step by step. It does not look perfect. It doesn't have to be. It's allowed to just unfold. We have plantain with rewild. I love how this gives me Jumanji vibes. Oh, man. So this is like set out on an adventure, set out on a journey. Little hobbit energy. Unexpected adventure. And sometimes that's going to be conquering the mountains that exist within yourself Sometimes it's going to be crossing the river that seems like it's just full of feelings and emotions. But giving yourself that opportunity to go on that adventure. This definitely feels like an internal adventure, though, like that rewilding. Asking yourself, what do I desire? In this moment right here, right now. Is it going for a walk? Is it dancing in the rain? Is it resting? Not what do I feel like? What do I desire? And just because we desire something doesn't mean we're going to like set out and do it instantaneously. You might desire hiking in the mountains, but if it's 10 o'clock at night when you're watching this, you're probably not going to go drive to the mountains to go do that in this moment. But knowing you desire that, you can make a plan. But it's allowing those desires to be brought to light, not just letting them live in the deep, dark crevices of your heart, right? Let them get some light. We have Beaver with Make Manifest. I love how beavers really curate their home. Like they're getting those sticks. They're building the home. They're managing their environment. Beavers affect water. They'll build a beaver dam and like block a little creek or a stream to create an environment that works for them. Like they have this mission. They're dedicated. It's also like giving me like a lean on your sense of community. Any change you want to make in the world needs to start in your home. I will give an example that's maybe a little bit extreme, but to give context. If you want to be a nutritionist and you want to teach people the benefits of a wholesome diet in varying capacities, if every night you go home and you eat a bag of chips, you're not really creating that change because you're still operating from the junk food side of the equation. And I'm not saying that to like make you feel shameful. Like if you want to go have those potato chips, by all means, like you do you, boo. But trying to inspire others without recognizing that still lives within us, or just like saying it for what it is, allows for the grace. Allows for the grace to unfold. Right? Awareness. Coming right under, is this mine? So you are becoming much more aware of what is yours and what isn't, like without question. Psychic healing. This is also like very psychic energy, like his crown, third eye are like in a circle and kind of on fire type things. With the universe like swirling out, like you are going through some kind of spiritual activation. Even the owl has, I'm going to call it steam or smoke coming off of its crown chakra, just like this guy has this light. So there is an activation happening for you, an advancement. So that might also feel a little bit unsure, like if you're starting to see spirits and there's this like increase or intensity associated, that might feel a little bit scary of the unknown. It's like, oh, what's happening? Doesn't mean you're seeing spirits, just using that as an example, but your spiritual gifts are activating, getting an up level upgrade. So understanding that you're going to have to hunker down into your little beaver cave and allow rest for integration in these changes too. Suffering in silence. This card was pulled for pile number 2. So if you were drawn to pile number 2 and you haven't watched it, there might be some messages for you there as well. But again, mountains, like conquering that mountain, but but I feel like it's inside. Like I feel like you are creating your own resistance to, I can't do this, I can't do that because that. You're creating these restrictions on yourself. And I'm a human. I'm not saying that they're not valid or that they don't make sense, but do you want to stay stuck in resistance? Or do you just want to take the steps to walk up the mountain versus complaining that the mountain is there? Sometimes that's just how it is. If we chose a path that includes mountains, can't be upset when there's mountains. You know, essentially. Well, we can, but rest and rejuvenate. So taking that time for integration. Okay, so, and that's coming right under the beaver, right? And mountains coming under mountains and psychic aware. Like, I love the synchronicities. They just, if you could get into a forest, that would be really ideal. Or if you have some kind of tree you like to work with, whether it's through an essential oil or maybe, I've made diamond willow magic wand for healing purposes. So that helps me connect with the diamond willow in that restorative forest energy. So giving yourself the grace to take that time. It's not going to feel like you have time. There's going to be so many things that pull at you. I should do this, I should do that. And while all valid, you're going to move a lot faster when you slow down, when you become more present in your body and you're able to feel things differently. You have been like drudging on for a long time. You've been applying those efforts, that suffering in silence. You've been climbing that mountain and it just never ends. Like life is always going to present you with like little mountains or challenges. It's the nature of being human. We're in physical existence. We will be met with resistance and edges and sharp things. But when you actually take that time to surrender and just allow yourself to exist, just to decompress, get back in the wild, it's going to change how you operate in everything. It's going to change the energy. It's going to help you feel more grounded, more present, become more aware when someone's projecting their things to you. So you don't have to get caught up in the story. You don't have to get caught up in your old wounds. It creates the grace and ease for all of that to happen. Okay. Pile number 3, these are the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're here for another one of the readings, I look forward to chatting with you some more. If you haven't followed me yet and you'd like to, sure would appreciate that follow. Sharing my video helps me to connect with other like-minded people in a really, really heartfelt way where I can give back and create content to support you. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will talk with you again very soon. Bye.